Okay. Hilchos Melocha Perek Aleph Halacha Daled. Ema be the melech mikal gerim, afilach kamadoros. One cannot establish a king from a congregation of gerim. We'll see what this means. Maybe let's say you have gerim from multiple generations, all converts. 200 years ago, somebody converted to Judaism, the mother, and subsequently, every generation, a what is that same line of gerim. Afilach kamadoros, because the pedigree is never a pedigree on the maternal side as an original Jew. It's what? Only as a convert. Ad she'tiyeh imo b'Yisrael. The mother has to be Jewish, has to be an original Jew. Okay? Shenemar, lo sucha lo seis alecha ish nochri ashelo achicho. You cannot point a person who's nochri. Nochri means he does not have a Jewish pedigree, only your brother. And this is the Gemara in Yivamis. And not only in terms of a kingship for a king, any position where you dictate, which means you lord over other people, that person has to have that pedigree. Minimally, the mother should come from a Jewish pedigree. Person could be the greatest tzaddik in the world. This convert has nothing to do with being how righteous, how devout you are. To be in a position to be of leadership, you have to have the pedigree, leadership in terms of lording over other Jews. You have to have the pedigree, a Jewish pedigree from the maternal side. He gives example, lo sar tzova, to have a level of distinction in the army. Sar tzova, a general. Lo sar chamishim, even a person who's a commander of 50 troops. O shel esrim, sar esrim, you oversee 20 troops. Afil munal amas hamayim, shemachalik mayim lesodos, person is appointed by the mayor of the city. He oversees the waterworks in the city, and he determines how much water each person receives. That's a position of making decisions in people's lives. It's on the city. He's not qualified to be the greatest Torah scholar in the world. He's not qualified to be a judge, to sit on the court, to adjudicate laws which pertain to Jews. O Nosi, or a prince, leader. Nosi doesn't mean a prince, that he's from necessarily what we call the son of a king. Nosi Shloi Elu Yisrael. He has to be of Jewish origin. If he's from a Gentile background, although he's Jewish and his father was Jewish, multiple generations of converts, he's not qualified. Shenemar Mikerev Achecha Tosim Lechem Melech. From the midst of your brothers, Tosim, you should place upon yourself Melech, called Mesimo Shato Mason. This is the interpretation of the Gemara. Any position where you place somebody to lord over others, called Mesimo Shato Mason, Lo Yelu Mikerev Achecha. Only be from the midst of your brothers. Therefore, since a convert, there's no such thing as a convert being part of the Jewish people as independent identity, meaning to be an integral part, like we once discussed the name of the Ramchal, when a person converts to Judaism, if he has a Gentile soul, how all of a sudden, how does that metamorphosis take place? Then now, this transition, all of a sudden, is a new dimensional soul. How does that happen? He's not an original Jew. So the Ramchal explains that the Elon, the tree, is called the Jewish people. Jewish people is comprised of 13 tribes, 12 had a share in the land. Levi did not. When the Gentile meets all the prerequisites to conversion and follows the prescription the Torah prescribes how to become a Jew, that person is grafted onto the Jewish people. It's like grafting a branch onto an elon, onto a tree. As a result of that, the spiritual ecology of the Klal Yisrael now intermingles in the soul of the Gentile, and now the Gentile immediately has this metamorphosis take place to his neshama, and now he has a Jewish soul. but that Jewish soul is subsumed. It doesn't have its own identity. And that's what Kal Gerim Eno Kal. The law is that a mamzer, an illegitimate Jew, is not permitted to marry into the Jewish people. It says, Lo Yovel Mamzel Bekal Hashem. A mamzer is an illegitimate Jew, although he's a Jew. He'd be a great tzaddik, but if he's illegitimate, Lo Yovel Bekal Hashem. He cannot marry into the Kal Hashem. What could he marry a convert? The law is a mamzer is permitted to marry a convert. Why? So the Gemara says in Kedushin, Kal Gerim Eno Kol. It says the convert cannot marry into the Kal Hashem. The congregation of converts, that's not called Kol. The only one's called a Kol are the Jewish people themselves. So there's no independent Kol called Kal Gerim. If they be called Kal, it says the mamzer cannot marry into the Kol Hashem. They're also Jews. They're Hashem, but they're not a Kal Hashem because they're totally subsumed by the Jewish people. They don't have their own identity. As a result of that, the convert is permitted to marry the mamzer or the male or the female, whatever the gender is. They're permitted. There's no prohibition for that reason. The Mishnah, who's a commentator on the Rambam, writes, the Rambam says, as long as the mother is from a Jewish pedigree, although from the father it's not, the person qualifies to be in a position to lord over that position of leadership. Where's this based upon? The Gemara tells us, Shmuel was the famous Amor, Rabban Shmuel, and the Gemara tells us in Subis that his daughter was taken captive and she was defiled by a non-Jew. And she conceived a child. The one who fathered her child, is a Shmuel's daughter. His name was Isser. And he converted to be a Jew. Although, halachically, he's not the father. Because when he fathered this child, he wasn't Jewish. So this child only has a mother, does have no father. So the child only identifies with the mother. So the Gemara says that Rava appointed Rav Mori, his name was Rav Mori, and he's always referred to in Shas, in the Talmud, as Rami bar Rachel. Rami, the son of Rachel. Rachel was this daughter of Shmuel. Why is he Rami bar Rachel? Because his father was a converted afterwards. So when he was conceived, he had no father. He appointed him to a position of leadership in Babylon. So Gemara says, how did he do it? His father's not Jewish. So that Gemara says, when it says from the midst of your brothers, you're permitted to appoint the person of position of lording over others, as long as the mother is Jewish, the pedigree's Jewish from the mother's side, that's called Kerev HaChepa. That's from the midst of your brothers. And therefore, Mori, the son of Rachel, whose father was a convert, although it's not his father, qualified to be in that position of leadership for that reason. Okay? That's the basis. The Sanhedrin is the high court of Israel, but even the lesser courts. Let's say the member of the Sanhedrin is qualified, he's ordained, he has the knowledge, but let's say he's handicapped. Does he qualify to be a member of the Sanhedrin? He should not be chosen to sit on the Sanhedrin. Why? Because since they represent the Jewish people, the Sanhedrin, in terms of the body of law, regardless how brilliant they may be, it doesn't bode well because people see people who are handicapped or limited physically. It doesn't project well that people will pride themselves in having such a body of people representing them. If you appointed him, he's qualified to rule. Because he has the ordination, he has the knowledge. But is it a first choice to appoint that person? The answer is no. Because the court has to be looked up to. Person who's physically a misfit, regardless of his brilliance and his qualification, he should not be chosen to be a member of the Sanhedrin. If a person is going to be the leader of the Jewish people, the king, It should be an original Jew. It's like the United States. You want to be the president of the United States, you have to be a naturalized citizen. You have to be born here. If you're a foreigner, if you were born out of the country, regardless of your leadership skill, qualities, your brilliance, you're not qualified to become president of the United States. Why not? Because if you're representing the United States, you have to be an original American. You have to be born here. Right? So what's his name? Kanto. He was a friend of Larry's. Kanto. He was an original American, right? He was they used to call him savages. Savages. He qualified to be president of the United States. Could you imagine? Guy sitting in the White House wore one of these headdresses. Okay, they have to fumigate the feathers to make sure there are no maggots in them. It's okay.